Welcome to the show. We are back.
Yes, we are. Your lights off?
Why is it so dark over there?
It looks dark on your end.
Really?
Yeah, I can't see you.
You cannot see me.
You can't see me. Can you see me?
Oh, you look dark. Well,
I
you have
can't
your
see
light.
you.
You can't see me.
No, I can't see you at all. Like,
How about that?
I still can't see you.
Really? What do you see? Like what? Black?
It's just black. Black is
What?
black. Like nothing. Like darkness.
I see myself.
I mean, I see myself, but I can't see you. Probably have something covered on your covering your camera. What's up? You can see yourself on the broadcast. Because if you see yourself on the broadcast, then or you should check your camera settings. Because I can see myself on the broadcast. Is anybody out there? Anybody confirm if who can see who? That's Raj. So Ice is checking out um his cam. Oh shit. There. That's how it be. You still there, Ice? Hold up. So I don't know if Ice is still on. Am I on? Anybody out there? Patrick? I don't even know if I'm on. It says live, but I'm not sure if I'm on. So I'm just gonna check this out. You might get a new link or something. Okay, we'll restart. So here we go.
Is that better?
Hold on. There you go. What happened, man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, okay, and you can see me, right?
Yes, I can see you. Was that on my end or was that on your end? What was going on?
I don't, I don't know. It could be on my end because I restarted and it's back to normal. So it could have been on my end. Who knows?
Alrighty.
Right. So
Episode brought to you by Vitamilk. So
what's
it's
that?
we're
Vitamilk. Vitamilk. Banana flavor.
yeah, I used to be just the regular one. I used to buy this when I would go on vacation to visit my dad in Thailand. This is a Thai product. I used to buy this because I see I would see their tuk tuk drivers and the bus drivers and taxi drivers. They would drink this a lot. I guess it like supposedly energizes you. It's a soy drink. I don't know if you I don't know if we have one that's local, but it's kind of like it's soy. Um, I guess it's high in protein or something. I don't know. It's like milk, but it's not milk. It's Vitamilk. All right. Anyways,
It's not
so
milk. It's Vitamilk.
you get old, man. You know, you have all these like I guess the good, the bad, and the ugly of old age. I don't know. But like I'm a regular Yakult drinker now. Not promoting the product or anything, but it's just you know, that's my thing. And they're limiting the purchase of Yakult here. It's like you can only buy 3 packs because they always run out. Apparently, some people are like
Really?
hoarding.
That's a Japanese product.
It is. It is. They're hoarding Yakult, and you know, I don't know. A lot of people believe in the healing properties of Yakult. I'm just a Yakult drinker. I like the taste of it. I know it's good for your digestive system, and I'm the type of guy who eats anything. So I guess that's my precautionary drink, and I always want to be regular. You know, when it comes to bowel movement. Are you regular? You're regular, right? You how many times do you take a crap in a day?
Um, once.
But
Sometimes twice.
regular.
Depends. Yeah, regular.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah. No.
Well, I eat a lot of fibers. So I mean, food with fibers. So like fruits and I eat yogurt. So
That's good. Yeah, yeah. That's
that can be
the
it.
like Yakult's like my yogurt, kind
Plus
of.
a lot of vegetables and well,
I mean, you prepare that, or if that's the food you order. I mean, you guys have that option, right?
no, we have school lunch. So school lunch is, I mean, it's for kids. So they have a dietitian. So it's usually it is healthy. So that's why it's either fish or chicken, and there's always vegetable. We have like a bread day. Tuesday is bread day. Then we have the noodle day, which is like Thursday. but once a week. No, once a month. Like, okay, let's say Tuesday is like bread day, right? But once a month, it would be rice and something
Okay.
else, right? Or meat, chicken, or it could be fish. Then Thursday is usually noodles. It could be udon or it could be ramen, right? Softmen, they call it. But once a month, Thursday would be like rice or naan. But then the Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, they're usually rice, but it depends. There are times that it has a touch of Korean, it has a touch of Chinese, then it's Japanese, like we call it washoku. So that's like like hardcore Japanese. So it really depends. But there's a lot of fish in the menu and a lot of chicken, and of course lots of vegetables.
Japanese
Young
food generally is healthy. You guys get your I mean, staff gets free meals.
No, no, no. We have to pay for it. Nobody gets free meals. Everybody has to pay for it, though it's subsidized because it's school lunch. So basically, I pay about 260 yen for my lunch, which includes milk. Like it's the whole meal. So there's milk in it, and yeah, I mean, there's if you're allergic to milk, that's the only time that you can have tea. But school lunch is composed of like this the staple food. Then there's meat. Then there's vegetable. Then there's dessert. Then there's the what do you call that? The what's that? The milk, right? So basically, that's what you get.
Got it. Got it. Yes, Gab. This is a Virginia Tech cap. It's Virginia Tech. It's my nephew graduated engineering from Virginia Tech, one of the I guess better engineering schools in the U.S. He graduated. He works now, and my niece, his sister, younger sister, is in Virginia, University of Virginia. They actually just started playing college football. I think they lost to Duke University in their first game, the opening game. Not sure, but yes, Gab, this is a Virginia Tech cap. I got this from my sister. I requested for it.
Oh yeah, I thought it's Vitamilk cap. Like
Hey, close enough. Close enough. See,
like Vita, like a VT, like
V.
Vitamilk.
That makes sense. I would want one because I actually consume the product. I would want a Yakult cap actually, to be honest.
Dude.
If you find a
The
Yakult
top
cap, I would want one.
right? Yakult cap. I don't
Yes.
know, like
No, because
well,
they
there.
had those. Remember they had those Yakult ladies before that would like go around selling Yakult. Like in Manila, they had those the Yakult ladies.
Yeah, we still
They
have
had-
them here.
Oh, okay. So those, yeah, I'm sure they. I'm sure they.
They ride the motorcycle or like the motorbike, scooters. They go to like it's either they drive the K cars, which is like the K vans, like those Suzuki Daihatsu type.
Yeah,
Drive
yeah.
that, or they have those small, like motorcycles, and they drive around the city. Some of them go to schools because people order Yakult, like they have like those specialized whatever. So they would like go to one school, and there's just only one teacher who
Orders
orders it.
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
but they would just like put it on her table or something. And yeah,
Nice.
so I was like, well, really? Like, how expensive is this drink? Like, I think it's pretty expensive because somebody came, like, they knock on doors as well because they would deliver. But I was like, all right, so if you get this, whatever, whatever, they have like these, like products, and it'd be like, all right, so in a month you'll be paying about 3,000, whatever, and I'm like, all right, no, thank you.
Is it expensive? Is it?
Dude, that's expensive. If I buy like some yogurt in the supermarket, like the yogurt that I buy is like only 99, like 98, 99. It's like 3 packs, right? A pack of
Yeah.
three, a pack of three, which is 98 yen, right? Give or take. So that's around what, like 40 pesos, a pack of three.
Oh, that's cheap.
It's cheap, right? So I mean, if I would get that 3,000-4,000, it would be more like if I consume once a day, it wouldn't reach that like that high.
That's cheap. That's cheap.
So yeah, the yogurts here are expensive. The fresh milk are no, yogurts here are cheap, and milks too. Like we have the fresh milk. We don't have full cream milk. We have fresh milk, so it goes bad after 10 days. But it's the one that I get is 100 and is it 148 yen? Is it around that or 106? But it's more or less about 80 pesos for like a carton of milk.
Yeah, it's about the same here. About the same here. Yeah, it's about the same.
But is
here.
it fresh or is it full cream milk? 'Cause,
It's fresh. It's fresh. The one we
Like
buy is
how-
fresh milk.
like so that's like what 5, 6, 7 days? Like good for
I do not know. Raj and I go through it like in a day. Like
all right, okay,
like
that's cool.
two
Because my
tall
mom would
glasses
be
of
like,
it's
"Oh,
gone.
I get milk," but I'm like, "No, that's not." Because it's like, "Oh, it will expire in like October." Like, what? It's still
No,
July now. No, that's not fresh milk. Fresh milk expires in about a week or
yeah,
so, give or
the one
take.
that
So
the one that expires in a while. That's like no. I mean, okay. Are you talking about like once opened or once purchased?
no, it's like because our fresh milk here, it's
Like fresh,
regardless.
fresh.
Like yeah, so if regardless if it's open or not, that would go bad because they have like those dates there. So it's
Oh,
like usually
okay.
just 10 days.
Okay. All right. All right.
So
So it's a different kind of fresh milk then, because well, let me check. Let me check. So okay. So let's say our fresh milk here. What's that's fresh milk, right? And I also know that there's also one that they call what's the other one you mentioned? There's evaporated, there's condensed, there's the one you just
full
mentioned,
cream, right?
full cream. That's the one I think the wifey uses for cooking or baking or maybe even she uses fresh milk too or like for coffee. But this one says fresh milk, but it says ultra UHT processed fresh milk. So that means that must be the one that makes it last longer because this one will expire on February of next year, if not
Wow.
open. If not open, but once open, I'm sure you know. I think the one you're talking about is like the fresh milk that they have in the states, the ones we buy in the gallons.
Right.
Those things don't last very long. Those things you have to, once you buy them, you have to
You
consume
have to
them.
consume
Then
it.
they don't come in like packs like this. They come in like a plastic gallon. You buy milk by the gallon in the states, and that's about three of these, equivalent to about three of these, I think. And those things we drink by like I was like because you have to consume that, So I don't know how it is in Japan. I don't know how you guys do it in Japan, but I think that's equivalent to remember back in the day when they had the Magnolia fresh milk in a bottle,
Mm-hmm.
and supposedly they would be delivered daily to your door or something. Like
Hmm.
maybe they just did that in Manila. I'm not sure. But what happened to you? But anyways,
Right.
yeah. So it's like it's those big bottles. It says Magnolia. That's I think that's the real fresh milk. Those things don't last very long. But if it comes in like a pack like this, it'll last forever. I mean, a year. Something's up with that milk.
All right. Okay.
But
So here it is. Milk labels in Japan. All right. We have the what we call the whole milk or pure milk. Nothing has been added or taken away. All right. So we have the low fat and the non-fat, but usually we what we consume here for fresh milk is the whole milk or pure milk. Nothing has been added or taken away. This I think we have the milk Junyu. It's Sabin Mucho Senyu. I think this is what's popular here. So let's see. What's whole milk? What's it? Yeah, that's what they call it. Whole milk. Whole milk. It's whole milk. All right, dude. It's confusing. Whole milk is sometimes also referred to as fresh milk or regular milk in the consumer retail market. From a taste and nutritional perspective, whole milk typically has a higher fat content, along with a full suite of nutrients found in cow's milk. So that's what we have. Nothing's been taken away, and nothing's been added. So I think that's what we have. That's why it goes bad in 10 days. It doesn't really last very long. So all right, apparently there's just lots of,
got it.
lots of kinds of fresh milk or milk for that matter.
Got it. Got it. So yeah. So I guess you're wondering
Vita
what
milk is what?
yeah. It's soya milk.
It's
It's
a soy milk.
it's a soy milk. Soya is like beans, right? So
Yeah, that's healthy too. Soy milk is,
yeah, I
soy
think it's
is
high in
healthy.
protein. It's like that's what the Thai folks. Yeah, I would see like the drivers of
It's pretty
you know
because soy, like tofu is soy, right?
Yeah. Tofu soy. Tofu soy.
Natto is soy, and natto is big here. Like, do you have natto in the Philippines now?
I've had natto, but it's not. I had it at a Japanese restaurant. Not. It's not something that
Do
you
you
can
like
just
it?
buy. Yeah, I like it.
All right, because a lot of people don't like it here, especially foreigners. They'd be like, "Ah,
The
it's
the
too
one with the
bland."
slimy thing.
Yeah. Because
Yeah, it's good. I love it. It's
you
good
put
stuff.
vinegar and you put the mustard. Lots of foreigners are like staying away from it. But I'm like, when they first tasted it, it was like, I'm fine with it. It's
Yeah, I
sweet.
love it.
I'm
It's
glad you
good.
like it.
Yeah, I couldn't stop
Because people
eating
always
it.
like, because Japanese are always like, oh, do you like natto? Like, yeah, I like natto. Like, no big deal. Because a lot of foreigners apparently don't like it, especially the white folks. They're like, oh, I
Really?
hate natto. Like, it's kusai. Like, they say it smells, right? It has that certain smell. So
Wow. Maybe that was Neto. That's what they had.
neto, neto didn't
It smelled
didn't
like
got
batong. It smelled
yeah,
like batong.
dude. It actually does. Natto actually does smell like that if you think about it. Oh crap.
And the mami, is that what it's called? The
Mame,
ma-
the mame,
the mami, yeah,
the edamame,
yeah,
the
yeah,
green
the mami,
ones,
yeah, the
the
green
green
ones,
ones, yeah,
yeah.
beans, yeah.
I love those
So
too. I love those too.
yeah, I love
I've had
edamame.
those.
Edamame.
I've had those.
Well, can you get that there at the Japanese
No, a
restaurant? Do
Japanese
you have
restaurant. I
edamame?
just had that at a Japanese restaurant as well because the owner of this Japanese restaurant that opened hired me to sort of like just be this voiceover. Well, not voiceover, but just like the host of the ribbon cutting thing and about the wifey there, and they served that. They had the mami, they had natto and all that stuff.
So
And
that's
I like it.
edamame and the natto and mame.
Yeah. So in case you guys are wondering what we're talking about, it's like talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of old age. I guess we're talking about what we consume now. If we are more conscious about what we consume, the thing is, when I think about it, I don't think I'm being conscious at all, and I feel so bad. It actually scares me. So I try to just balance it out. So I'll have like multivitamins, and then I'll have like Yakult, and then I'll have like Vitamilk, whatever, something that supposedly balances it out, but it doesn't work that way. You're supposed to have a healthy diet, and I just had Doritos earlier. I just had Hershey's Kisses earlier, and it's not like if you eat something unhealthy and then you eat something that's healthy that it's gonna,
Then
it's
it's gonna
going to
balance out.
yes, and it's going to erase the unhealthy effects of the one. It's like
Yeah, it's like when you were a
I'll
kid,
smoke
we're
a
like,
cigarette, but I
okay,
have vitamin C. So it doesn't work that way.
like I'll have this much sugar, then later I'll have this much salt. No, I mean that's not how it works. You're
Yeah,
just
that's like
killing yourself.
that's like
You're
instant
killing yourself.
diabetes. So I know exactly. So I kind of like I have to cut down. It's more about not what I eat. It's not about what I consume that's healthy. It's more about for me to stop consuming things that are unhealthy. And like I said, we're gonna pay for it maybe 5, 10 years down the line. Maybe not right now. Maybe not next year. But I will feel the effects of it, and that's when the shit hits the fan. And I remember my Lola would keep telling me when I was younger, because sometimes I would eat like adobo or something, and I wouldn't eat the fat or whatever. And like Raj doesn't like the fat of adobo. Like when he eats adobo or anything, like the chocowali or whatever, he doesn't like the fat part, and that's like the good part. And he calls it the jelly part. It's like I don't like the jelly part. And I remember my Lola would always tell me back in the day to eat that stuff while you're young, because when you get older, you know, you're not gonna be able to eat that anymore, or you're not supposed to eat that anymore, and so you should kind of get your fill when you're young. I remember my daughter would always say that because maybe she felt like she wanted to eat it, but she doesn't eat it anymore, and she would see me like kind of you know not consume it. It didn't work with me though, because I ate that stuff back then, and then I still eat that stuff now. So it's more about self control, and it's scary when you look at your family history. Most people will say, "Hey, you can inherit diabetes, you can inherit high blood or hypertension or whatever the heck it is, cancer and all that stuff if it's in your family." I think it's more about inheriting the eating habits. And then that's why you inherit the same sickness. Because, like, if you come from a family of diabetics, that's because they probably in your family, you probably have a sweet tooth. And that's passed on to you. So you also have a sweet tooth. And hence you also get diabetes.
But
But
here's
like
the
you,
here's the
yeah.
thing. My mom's the sweet tooth. My dad wasn't, but he was the one who had diabetic. He was the one who was diabetic.
Did he
But
like salty stuff?
No, no, I think it was from stress. I don't think it was from eating or something. Like he would, he was usually, like eating vegetables and stuff. Well, he drank a lot, but I mean, I have no idea why he had diabetes. But all I know is that it was probably from stress when Devilite had a strike and he eventually lost his job. So that could have been it, because I think stress is a factor for developing these types of diseases. So yeah, I mean, my mom all the way, she's a sweet tooth. Like that's where we got it from. Like eating butterroll, all these desserts and stuff. So that's what really shocked me. Because it was like, oh, my dad was the one who was diabetic, and I even thought when I was younger that my mom would die first before my dad, because my mom always got like got sick and she would be hospitalized and stuff.
Yeah,
And my
yeah.
dad was usually the active one. He plays bowling, he plays tennis, he
And
plays a
he's
lot of
slim.
sports,
Like he's slim,
and
you
he
know, like
and
he's
he
slim,
was
and your
slim.
mom's a little bit on
But
the
then
yeah.
he had diabetes. But even when he had diabetes, he was like, he was watching over it. He was being careful. But I think it was, I mean, when my mom left and he just like, went full throttle. He felt like he was a teenager again. So he was just like drinking every night, sleeping late every night, and that was for a whole year. So when my mom came back, and they went to the doctor and took some lab tests, oh my god, everything's to the roof.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing, man. It's like I don't even know because like you're right. Some people live a healthy lifestyle, and they still inherit the disease or the sickness. That's like I have a friend. His big brother, like super dude. The guy's super healthy. He literally like just eats carrots,
Mm.
and
He had cancer.
he's like he had cancer. He's like a policeman and he's fit like crazy. When we play basketball with him, he's like never gasses out, and he's just very conscious about what he eats. Very never smoke. He was the one that never smoked in the family. He was the one that doesn't drink as much in the family, and he's the one that got hit by cancer. And that's but cancer though I think that's a different animal altogether. Cancer is more of like a roll of the dice. It's kind of like God's way of kind of putting you in your place, I guess, if you believe in God
No,
and
let's take for
whatnot.
example, Gary V, Mr. Pure Energy.
Diabetic.
He was diabetic. I don't. What was it
I
like?
think his son too now,
He was
right?
born like, okay. Was he born with it? Because there are people who are born with it, or
That I don't know, but since I remember, I recall, I've always known that Gary Vee was diabetic. So I don't know for how long. Maybe when, I only knew him when he got famous. So I don't know if that's something that he's had since childhood. Like my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law, she's diabetic, but I think she acquired it from the steroids that's in the medicine or the medication that she was taking because she has lupus and that's what she has.
Mhm.
And since she has lupus, like she had to take like medication and whatnot. And I think it's the medication that she took that made her diabetic. So now she has lupus and diabetes, but it's not like bad diabetes. It's just my mom has diabetes. My mom's diabetic.
Mhm.
She got that from my grandmother, and but my mom's not really a sweet tooth person, but she certainly eats what she wants to eat. Maybe she does have a sweet tooth. I don't know. But I know people who eat sweet stuff like crazy and like they never get diabetes. So I really don't know. It's like maybe you're born with like certain weaknesses, and if you tap into those weaknesses, then it's like like I mentioned this already on the show. It's like what Jokoi said about his brother, because he has an older brother who kind of went nuts. Like when I don't know if he killed himself or something, but he has an older brother, and his older brother was like smoking weed like crazy when he
Mhm.
was younger, and he knew about this, but he didn't tell his parents about it. And I think his older brother eventually like got depressed or something, or I don't know, died or killed himself or whatever. And later down the line, he got himself tested or something, and then like the test results came out, and one of the things that he was forbidden to consume or ingest was weed, and he was told that it would be very bad for him because his body wouldn't react properly to it, whatever. And he's like, that explained it, like he's like, oh shit, I recall my brother, taking weed when I was younger, and like that's why he was like that, because there were people who were taking weed and they're fine, they can still work, they can still. But his brother's like the effect was different, and he felt guilty about it. He felt like he should have told his parents about it. So there's stuff that affects people in different ways, like alcohol. My mom's allergic to alcohol. I mean, alcoholic drinks. So if we didn't know about it, like Raj, if we didn't know about it, he's G6PD. If we didn't get tested and we didn't know that he was allergic to beans and menthol and all that stuff. But if he was ingesting that stuff, he would be sickly all the time. So I think we kind of have to know, like what the weakness is in our family. Like if you have weak lungs, and then you start smoking, then because I know people who've been smoking since like they were in grade school, and they're still fine as heck. They don't even cough right now.
Right.
Right? I'm sure you know people too who are like that. So it's kind of it's scary, man. It's scary because you kind of like you don't know. You might be depriving yourself of something that you might be immune to, and you might be consuming something even just a little bit, but it's actually fatal for you. And not for everyone, but maybe for you. So we don't know. We don't know. Like, people will do drugs and like they're like in and out of rehab, or like they all of a sudden they get an overdose and they die. And then you also know people who've been doing drugs since like God knows when, and they're still alive and kicking and they're still fine. Like you talk to them, they're not unhinged or anything. And yet, people will like tried it once and all of a sudden they're like staring blankly into space. I mean, I had neighbors like that in Bakaka. There's this guy we knew, I'm not going to name him, but there's this guy we know who's like a legend in the neighborhood. He was known to be like a drug runner. He was known to be like just a guy who lived off drugs. You talk about drugs, it's him. And he's freaking still employed and he's working and he walks around without a shirt on
Probably
sometimes.
don't consume it.
Dude, he
Is there
did.
Is there
He was
people
just
like who sell it, and they probably even like well they're
dude.
probably
Dude, he's
exactly
literally. Yeah,
he's using it.
yes, of course he's like.
That's what I heard from people who are like
I mean, it's not like
pushing
it's
it.
not.
Like,
It's not like he sell it. He was he was like a runner guy. He was like the guy who he wasn't making money off of it. He wasn't. He was just this guy who we knew would hang out with wherever the drugs were. That's where he would be. And there's also like this dude who comes from a rich family and plays basketball with us all the time, and
maybe he
and
was
they're
an
wealthy.
asset.
And yeah, I don't know, but this guy was like wealthy and stuff, and now it's like in and out of rehab, and now he's like you talk to him, he doesn't respond. He's like, but he can still play basketball, but he's like, he's like blank, man. You could tell that it really took its toll on him because that wasn't the guy I remember when I was younger, and
You don't mess with these things because
you don't, you don't.
It's just scary. Like I don't even mess with alcohol for that matter.
Yeah, alcohol is,
It's pretty safe and it's legal, but
dude. No, alcohol is worse. I mean, if you really think about it, if you like you look at studies and whatnot, there are probably more deaths, there are probably more accidents, there are probably
I
more
know. I
fatalities
read that too.
associated with
I
alcohol
read
than
that too.
drugs or
I read
any
that
other
article.
substance whatsoever. Because
Oh, it's
alcohol,
business,
like
yeah.
yeah, and because alcohol is free. Alcohol is like people can consume it freely. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you did that with drugs, it'll be more fatalities with drugs, right? It's just that drugs is obviously controlled, so it's gonna be limited. But with alcohol, it's like I can consume as much as I want. Who's to stop me? How would they know if I'm gonna turn into a beast and beat up my whole family once I'm drunk? You'll only find out at the end, right? When it's too late. When you hear of these stories in the provinces of like the dads who get drunk, they come home, beat up their wives just for nothing, for no reason, beat up their wives and their kids. And when you live in the provinces, there's no proper law there where you can like have your husband arrested or shit. There's no VAUSI, there's no women's and children's desk or whatnot. It's just like it's the province. Like you'd be lucky there's a barangay, maybe the barangay Tano there himself, the barangay captain there himself beats up his wife too, and maybe he was out drinking with the dad. See your stories like that, right? I mean,
What kind of a town is this?
dude, a typical town.
You have, you have a barangay captain that beats up his wife. Oh my god!
Well, I mean, if the dad, if a resident of that town can get away with it, Heck, I'm pretty sure that was brought up already with the barangay captain, and I'm pretty sure the barangay captain's
Don't
probably
make
like,
the wife
"Oh,
Peter Tan.
I was out drinking with them too," because like the wives probably don't even know that they're being beaten. You know, they probably just think it's part of it. You know that it's normal. It's normal for the. I mean, this I'm talking about like. I'm not talking about like now. I mean, people now are probably more educated about that stuff. Now they have like helplines. Now there are people more and more. But still, can you imagine, right? How you drink alcohol, and then you drive. You're already putting people's lives at risk. Just like it's not that you're a killer, but it's just that, you know, it's going to affect your driving. I mean, it's happened to me many times, man. I mean, I'm not even gonna tell stories about me driving while intoxicated, but in the U.S., that's why it's so, it's such a big deal if you get caught driving under the influence because
Dude, in Japan, it's zero tolerance. Like zero.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what
At
I'm
least in the
saying.
States, you can have like one bottle or whatever. Here, it's zero. You can't,
Dude.
like, it's zero.
Dude, I have like, I've driven home where when they say that tumawid yung poste, like many times, literally, like your eyes will cross and you can't control it. Like you're driving, you literally like, and you have to just be conscious that yes, you're supposed to just focus. That's why I drive slowly when I drive home. Oh, this is back in the day when now of course you're not supposed to do that. But and then I'm smartened up. I have a family now. I'm a grown up. I'm an adult now. I was an adult then, but just made immature decisions. It's literally like I would only drive like 20, 30 kph. I wouldn't go any faster than that because my mentality was if I hit anything, at least I'm not going fast enough to kill it. You know? It's like I might hurt it, but I'm not gonna kill it. I'm gonna be able to stop the car in time. And that's why I would always look at the speedometer. That was my thing. That was what got me home. Drive slowly. Because if you're drunk, you can become immune. You notice how people when they're drunk they speak in a loud volume because they become deaf. Like they don't know how loud they're speaking. They don't know how rowdy they're behaving. Because you become manhid. It numbs you. That's why people when they're having emotional pain or they're depressed, they drink because it numbs them of that pain. When I fly and I have like this fear of flying, I always order a can or two of beer. And even though it's overpriced, like you pay 150 for like San Mig Light, I'll drink those two and it'll numb me a little bit and I'm not going to be as tense during that flight. If it's like maybe a 3-hour flight to Bangkok or something, sometimes I'll have my beer because sometimes I do have that, I'll have that fear. That fear will kick in. And I'll have like two San Mig Lights and that's like 300 pesos for 2 cans. But it calms me a little bit. And that's why people do that. It numbs you. That's why when people get in car accidents, it's because they're numb to the speed of the vehicle that they're going. They're like literally stepping on that gas. They don't know that they're zooming on by like crazy. They think everything's still in slow motion. That's why you have to look at the speedometer when you're driving because that's what's gonna remind you that, oh shit, I'm going over. I'm going 60 or 80 now in JP Laurel. You know what I'm saying? And I could run over these street vendors and I could run over these people crossing the street. And you didn't have that problem. Good for you because you didn't really, you never entertained the thought of even drinking. And you spared you extended your life already by years, dude, just by not drinking. Your liver must be healthy like shit. Your liver must be like, our livers must be like,
I mean, eat junk stuff.
dude, still, no, you're still nowhere near half that. Like, think about it. When you drink, what do you eat when you drink? Chicharon bulaklak, sisig, all that shit. I mean, if you're not gonna kill yourself with alcohol, you're gonna kill yourself with the friggin' lechon kawali and chicharon bulaklak. I'm always a designated driver of the group. Yeah, exactly.
You should be.
You should, yeah.
I mean, you can't designate the other people who are drunk to drive. You should be the one, Gabby.
Yeah, well,
You're the one.
the problem is, what if everybody has their own car, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's the problem.
if you're going to the event as a group in one car, that's one thing. But everybody's going to the event in their own cars. I mean, you can't be designated driver of everybody, right? What, you're going to leave your cars at the event? I mean, it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I mean, okay, folks, if you're going to an event and if you're going to drink, Don't bring your car. Just take a
Yeah, no.
taxi. Take a
That's what my
cab.
wife told me. That's what my wife told me. Like, because
Take a taxi.
I have a friend who owns a bar here, and it's way out there in Ecoland, and my friend's always been inviting. He's like, hey, go there with what's her name? What's his name? Let's the whiskey's on me or whatever. And I'm like, shit, if I'm gonna go there drinking like this is at Ecoland, and if I drive there, and the wife is like, no, just we'll drop you off and we'll pick you up. Like my
Right?
wifey
Yeah.
would
I
would
mean,
offer that, you
right.
know.
You get dropped off. Somebody will drive you to the event. Then you can just like take a cab home. That's the safest
Yeah,
way to do it.
yeah,
Right? So
yeah.
you're only going to be spending one taxi ride home. I mean,
That's true.
right? At least ask somebody to drop you off to the event. So then you already save like cab money.
Or do what
Right?
I do
If you're
now.
worried about that, right? What do you
Just
do now?
just buy whiskey at SNR and like do drink at home.
Yeah,
I mean, I
but
mean,
that's not where the event is.
I know. But here's the thing though. Like, I've had a lot of close calls in my life. Like this is from way back, even in college, where I would skip on going out that night, and like
Mhm.
I'll find out the next day that somebody got shot, somebody got in a fight, or that place got burned down, or some shit like that. Even in Thailand, this happened. My sister, younger sister Angel, in Thailand they always have this like New Year's party in this bar called Santika, which was near where my dad's place was, like probably like just like walking distance. And we went to that bar already before, and we were supposed to go there on New Year's Eve because there's a party there. And my sister's like, she's a party girl, so she's like, "Kuya, go, let's go." It's really, and it's like New Year's Eve is like my birthday. I'm December 31, so I'm like, shit, yeah, yeah, I want to do this. Want to go there, but for some reason that night, like I skipped on it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not really up to it. It's like my birthday. I kind of want to chill. I kind of want to just like read a book or something, or I don't know, play video games. And we were staying with Dad's place, and that night, that freaking place burned, and nearly everybody there died. And we were there like I think the week before. It's this bar called Santika, and I think it started in the kitchen or something. It's kind of like almost like the ozone situation, and
Hmm.
we found out. I was like, holy shit! So I've had several close calls. I've had friends invite me to go to this bar, and then I find out the next day, like people got in a fight, and somebody got shot or whatever, and I'm like, shit, good thing I wasn't there. And as you get older, and you get to be my age, and you have two beautiful kids at home who can't afford to lose their dad to something, something as kind of unexpected as like a shooting or some tragic thing happening. I mean, it gives me more reason to stay at home. And if I just want to consume alcohol, like, I mean, you do miss it. Like if I like the time I went out with Joe and Mao, that was like the last time I probably did. That was like a long time ago, dude. That you do miss it. You miss that excitement. You see, oh, there's new faces, and you notice like, oh my god, it's been a while because back in the day when we go out, it's always the same people. We always see the same freaking people. We're like, oh, these are the same people. These are just, I've seen this people. I've seen this group of people before. I've seen this girl before. I've seen this person. Now, dude, you go out, you're literally like you don't know anybody. You don't know anybody. Even Mao doesn't really like rub elbows with everyone anymore because the folks that he's used to seeing at the bars, they've all either gotten too old or somewhere else, or I don't know what's going on with their lives. They don't go as much anymore. So there are new people. If you do want to meet new people, they're out there. But I mean, I don't know, man. As you get older, but it's more fun to do it, I guess. It's more fun to do it once in a while now. I mean, Gab still goes out. I don't know how often Gab goes out, but he's still always like at the bars and still at the. I don't know if it's getting old for him. I don't know if it's the same
If you don't have a
people.
family, that would be easy to do. But if you have a family, I think
That's true.
that would be, yeah, I think that would be difficult. I mean, if you value your, because you have to think about like, okay, like even now, like I'm always that person who tells people like don't get married, blah blah. And even Phil was like, well, look at me now, I don't go out as much, right? That's what he
Yeah.
told me, and he's not married or anything. And
Yeah.
he's like, well, I don't go out as much, and I don't even party as much. And Wendy said that too, and we had this group call. But I was like, well, Wendy has kids, so that explains it. And Phil, well, he's been bouncing around the world, and well, now he's back in America, and he's teaching. So it's, well, yeah, kind of, change of perspective and change in, I don't know, like maybe his lifestyle as well, because it's not like when he was here, he didn't have much responsibility in terms
Yeah.
of, like with the job that he had. So it could be that could be it. And yeah, but if you're single, basically, if you really want it, like you can just be out and about every weekend. But when
And
you
you
have a
would be.
family,
You would be if you're single. You would be because you'd be bored as heck at home, man.
yes,
You
yes,
right?
that's true.
You hear the silence, the sound
You
of
might
silence.
find other hobbies that would probably, get you out of the party scene, but then eventually you just like get back out there. I think that's what it is. But
Yeah,
then if
yeah.
you have a kid, like now it's just basketball for me and Snow. So yesterday we went to basketball. It was a different group, like a different club. So she started yesterday for Sunday basketball. That's like 2 hours every Sunday. Then today she had a 3 hour practice and we're together again. Then like my week is full of basketball, so I'll be doing basketball tomorrow. Then Wednesday, then
Nice.
then Friday. Then Snow has like swimming and stuff like that. So it's more of like you're constantly thinking about um you know like your kid. Like I think about her, like well being and stuff. Like not just the sports, but also she studies with her mom and her assignments and her homework and whatever it is that she needs to do in school. I'm worried about that. And there's not just there's not just enough time. There's only 24 hours a day, right? So
Yeah.
me, I'm like, I'm even thinking about canceling my Halloween plans because a friend was like, "Oh, do you want to go out for Halloween?" But I'm like, "Oh man, that's on a Saturday. I can't be bothered now." Like Snow has practice on Saturday, basketball practice. Then she goes to piano, and then she would come with me on my basketball game. So it's kind of like it's my day with her. And
Yeah.
if I miss that, it's kind of like, oh man,
Yeah,
for
it's
what?
you're affected already, right?
For
Like,
what?
yeah, for
Yeah,
what?
it's
For
like
what? That's
for
right. For
what? Like
what?
I go out there, what's really gonna happen?
Are
Am I
you
gonna meet
are you
crazy
doing it for
dudes?
yourself? Or are you doing it for your friend? You know what I'm saying? It's like
Exactly.
because if
It's
it's
not
for
like I'm gonna
yourself, you'd
go
rather
out
be with your
there
daughter.
and I'm gonna meet this really like
I
whatever. Like
know.
I'm
It's
gonna have like
like,
a really great time. Will there be a really gorgeous girl who'll be like, "Hey, I'm yours tonight, no strings attached"?
but
I don't
maybe
think that's
unlikely,
happening.
right?
It's highly unlikely. So I'm just like, nah, I can't be bothered. I'd rather like probably just spend time with my. I mean, I could risk it. I could like, all right, man, maybe I'm still in the game, whatever. But come on, I mean, really, when I'm out there, I'd be thinking like, if nothing's, if there's nothing going on there, if I just go out there and see the friend and nothing special happened, I'd be like, oh, I wasted my 3 4 hours of my life coming over here,
That's true.
and I spent money for
That's
something that
true.
I didn't really enjoy,
And you're
right?
preoccupied with the thought of like, darn it, I should have just gone with my daughter. Darn it, should have just, you know what I'm saying? Like this
Right.
time, I could have just like, like you don't want to miss out on that. And I think we're also at the stage in our lives with our kids where our kids are fun to be with now.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
have a
That's true.
relationship with them now. We talk to them. They understand shit. They're growing.
We fight
Like
with them.
Raj. Yeah, like Raj. Like I enjoy Raj is my friend. Like Raj is my enemy too because we're always together. But he's my friend. He's my best friend now. Like he teaches me stuff. Like he's. And like if I spend time with Raj, I feel like I'm learning more than I would if I was spending time with some of my other friends who are like same freaking. We're talking about the same freaking shit that we've been talking about over and over again,
True.
and I'm also depriving them of time with their kids, which I'm sure they would probably want to be with
And
as
there are
well.
even like times that I think about, all right, at some point I'm gonna die, right? Like even like as early as I'm thinking about, like at some point I'm gonna die, and I would probably go back to that time and I'm like, oh man, those times that I just went somewhere and wasted my time, not spending it with my kid. I'm like, oh, I don't wanna have that feeling. And
Yeah, I
even if I'm like
understand.
driving and I'm like, holy shit, I mean, I know I'm not gonna die yet. I mean, who know? Like nobody knows, right?
Nobody
But you're
knows.
thinking like, well, I'm young. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna die yet, but I mean, it's just an awful thing. You know what I'm saying? Like
It
dying is an
is.
awful thing. What if all of a sudden you don't wake up, right? I mean, you ever thought about that? Like you close your eyes at
Yeah,
night,
yeah,
you
yeah.
go to
Of
sleep,
course.
and you wake up the next day, right? What if
Yeah.
you never wake
What if you don't?
up?
What if something
Then you would
happens?
never
Yeah.
know. Then you would never know. And that's terrible. And I mean, so it's like, holy crap. So me, I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna spend as
Well,
much
okay,
time
I
as I
better delete some
can.
stuff on my phone then, if that's a possibility.
Dude, but I mean that's not really important. I mean, they're not gonna remember you with what you have on your phone. It's more of like they will remember the time that that they were with you. I think that's the most important
That's
part of
true.
there.
That's true.
So I mean, the stuff that we have on our phones or whatever, I think that's pretty much irrelevant. But it's more of like
Oh,
how we, yeah, right? I believe so.
well, when you're
I think
dead, right?
me, like, yeah. I mean, my dad probably did a lot of stupid shit when he was young, and but I never really, I don't think about those things. I just try to remember the things that that mattered to me, like those times that we spent together, and I mean, we had a lot of fights. Those come up from time to time, but it's more of like the great times that I had with them that that comes back all the time, and
Yeah.
the one that I remember.
I just don't want to be. I also don't want to be that guy who's like, all my friends think I'm a great friend. Like, oh, he's the greatest friend ever. But your family hates you. I don't want to be that guy. I'd rather like, my friend would say, oh, that guy doesn't really hang out with us all the time, whatever, whatever. But it's because I spent time with my family. Because like, I mean, of course, my friend's opinion matters. Of course, but at the end of the day, you can't really please every friend because
Well, they're
some
not
friends,
really.
right? Some
Here's the
friends,
thing. Then
some
they're
friends
not
want you to
really your
be.
friend. They're not really your. If they say something like that, then they're not really your friend,
No, dude, I'm
right?
telling you, I'm telling you, I have friends who are like that. I have friends who are like, just because they literally devote their life with their friends because maybe their family situation is shit. Like maybe there's no family to go home to. Maybe they're always told to do things when they're at home, so they escape that by being with their friends. So they're literally these are the friends who can. These are the friends who you can call anytime and they can come over your house and they can spend the night with you no problem. These are the friends who never come up with an excuse and say, "Oh, I have to do this for my lola," which I do. "Oh, I have to do this for my mom." Or, "Oh, I have to. I know my sister." These are the friends who literally are always there. Like you're like, does this guy have a home? Like, does this guy have any responsibilities, to his family? I mean, I have friends who are like that, and they seem like on paper they seem like they're awesome friends because they're always there, but when you think about it, the reason why it's so available is because there's always a reason why they're not at home. Like they're running away from something. They're escaping, and the friendship or the tropa or the barcada is their only semblance of family. Or maybe that's just how they are. They just want to have a good time. Pabanjing-banjing lang. There are friends who are like that. And they take it against you if you don't reciprocate that enthusiasm as a friend. Like they don't understand the fact that, oh, you have a lola that you want to keep company. Or they don't understand that you want to be alone and read a book. They don't understand shit like that. And I'm not, and you can't necessarily say that they're not a friend because in their mind and in their hearts, they think, I'm there for you all the freaking time. I accompanied you when you went to this place. I did this errand for you. I did this shit for you. But you never think about that because I never think about that because I never calculate how much a person does for me, and then I think, oh, can I do this for this person in return? No, because for me, it always has to be like voluntary. Like I would never force a friend or pressure a friend to do something for me, especially if it's something that I cannot guarantee to return as a favor. When the time comes when he needs it. Like I never put myself in a position where, oh, hindi ka man na nagpautang or, oh, hindi mo man ako sinamahan when whatever, when my lola died, you weren't there for me. Like, none of my friends were there for me when my lola died. None of my friends ever showed up at the hospital to volunteer and say, hey, I'll watch your lola for you, man. You go take a shower home, go home. Nobody, none of my friends showed up. None of my friends were there. None of my friends were there when I was at the morgue, choosing a whatever casket for. I mean, I understand why my family wasn't there because they're not here in this country, but your friends are there. My friends were there. They could have showed up at Cosmo anytime, offered a hand or whatever, but none of my friends were there. And I never took it against any of them. I never even thought about it. I never even called any of them. I didn't even call Miguel or any of my closest friends, Dex, whoever. I never even called them and said, dude, can you help me out? Because this is the first time I'm dealing with this shit. None of them. I never pressure them to any of that shit. I never looked down on them. Even you guys, like the guys I worked with. I mean, at Kilo B at the time when my lola passed away, dude. Because I had a girlfriend, and I think that's she played all those roles. She was there. That's my wife now, And if she wasn't around, then maybe I would have asked one of you guys. And I think, and I actually became closer to my workmates. You guys became my circle of friends. For you guys might have thought I had other friends outside. I do, but the guys who knew what was going on in my life at the time were you guys, the guys I was working with. And I never really put pressure on any of my friends because I've always been kind of like I'm an independent dude, you know. If you can learn to live without your family, you can learn to live without your friends. And but I had friends who like, dude, seriously, they'd be like, shit, man. I'm there every time you call me. I'm there every time you need me, and yet, you can't even be there when I call you. I'm like, shit, I have a family now. I mean, between you and my kid, honestly, really, what are you gonna threaten me with? What are you gonna threaten me with? You're gonna say, "Well, I'm not gonna be your friend anymore." Bleh. I mean, what? What if it's my kid, right? I mean, between losing you as a friend and losing my kid, I mean, come on, that's not even a choice, right? But I get what you're saying. Like, a true friend should be like somebody who's. But I wish though. I wish that that's how it was. Like that's how we are. Like I haven't seen you in years. We haven't
Yeah,
spoke. Right?
at least that's how I am. So I
That's how we
expect people to be
are.
that way. Like you
Yeah. That's
shouldn't take it against another person. Like for me, for example, like okay, let's say Yoda. Like I mean, I still consider him as like one of my really tightest, like friend, right? But like he's in a different situation now. I don't take anything against him,
yeah.
and he married somebody that I'm not in good terms with, and that doesn't really play a factor. I mean, I don't know how he feels about it. I don't know if he felt offended that I didn't really make peace with his better half, but it was more of like, well, I mean, you're my friend, but I don't have to be necessarily be friends with your wife because we had history,
That's
and
true.
I don't wanna go through that shit ever again. So it's fine with me. Whatever it is that I mean, I don't even require you to see me every time I come home. If you can, it's fine. If you can't, it's also okay. So I mean, I never took it against him. Like, oh, I can't. I have work. I have to whatever. But there are times that he would. I think back then he would purposely, start a fight with a partner, just so that he can have an excuse. Like, well, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
going to
yeah,
be
yeah. I used
seeing
to
her
do
in a
that too.
while,
Yeah, I used to do that with
and
my ex.
so he
Yeah.
could spend time with him. But I never asked him to do that. So now like even with that one time that he asked me to come over to their house, I was like, I really want to go over there and spend time with him because his better half is there, and I don't want to be put in a position where I would be rude to the host. But then he put me on the spot, and yeah, me, I don't compromise. So it got to that point. So I don't know if he felt offended or but me, I was just like, well, I already told you. Well, I actually came, I went, but then I was like, I wanted to leave with flip mode. It was already a plan. Like, all right, I'm leaving with you because I don't want to stay here, and be put on a spot. And flip mode played along. It was like, all right, so I'm gonna take him home. He doesn't have a car, blah blah blah. And but they were forcing me to stay. He forced me. Then Eric forced me. I was like, all right, fine, I'm gonna stay. But then I was like, I'm not gonna talk to her. I'm just gonna stay in a corner. But then I think I mean, things happen, and it got to that point. So it was just like, see, I, if I didn't go there, if he didn't invite me to that party of his, I would have been fine. I wouldn't take anything against him. And now
Yeah.
that he has three kids, dude, if I go home there and if he can't see me because his wife would say like can't see that guy, blah blah, and I wouldn't take it against him. You know what I'm saying? Like I would still
Yeah.
consider him as my best friend. He was one of my best men for crying out loud. That will
Yeah.
never change. But we are in a position right now where we have our own families,
Yeah.
and he lives with somebody, like his wife now, and I mean she's more important. And the wife sees me as a threat. The wife sees me as something like a mistress, and she would even say like, "Oh, one of these days, one of you will come out, whoever is gay among you." Right? So I was like, "See, like she speaks of these things," and I'm like, "See, that's kind of like she's just like she has like little brains, Like I mean, so it's just like, oh my god." So me, I don't want to like I never saw it that way, but she sees me that way, a competition. I'm not a competition. I'm a friend of your husband's. I never, like I never meant to be a competition,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, my wife doesn't see him as a competition. My wife doesn't see you as a competition. It's not like that. I mean, if you're a rational person, you would know the dynamics of friendship, the dynamics of family and
Yeah.
stuff. So me,
Yeah.
I understand
Absolutely.
that. Like, family comes first. So I wouldn't take offense if like that's how, like that goes for everybody, not just with him, but for everybody that I know.
Yeah.
It should be like that because we have our families, and family's important.
Exactly, man. I mean, it really depends too on much you value or how important the role of a family is to you. But for me, I mean, even if you look at, I mean, even if you knew me back then, I've always been like my dream has always been having my own family. That's my dream. I've never had a dream of like having a best friend. Never. Because first off, my like I said, my favorite activities are loner activities. I love to draw, I love to play video games, I love to read, these are things that don't involve other people. I don't play basketball, I don't do that shit where it involves a group of men for it to exist or for it to happen, to take place. I don't play board games, I don't do that stuff. I draw, I read, I play video games. These are all loner activities. So I'm used to that shit. I can survive with my PS5. I can survive with my pen and paper. I can survive with a good book. I'm good. Having a friend for me was actually a new experience. So a family is really what I wanted because your family will always be there, whether you're exciting or not, whether you're telling funny jokes or not. They're there. Whether we have an activity or not, my kids, my wife will be there doing their thing. Your friends, you meet up with your friends and you do nothing. Like, could you actually call your friend to your house and say, "Hey, just be here. I'll just read a book"? No, they're gonna be like, "Shit, man, what's up? What's up, money?" They're not gonna be there for that shit, and it's exhausting. For you to always have to be doing something to entertain them. But either way, like I said, with Ice, I haven't seen the guy in so many years. One time we just chatted or something. Let's do this shit, and then we did it. And how many episodes? How many episodes are we in now? Like, this is probably one of the most consistent things I've done in like so long, and it's not even
I don't know,
consistent.
man.
But we've done a lot of episodes, regardless of whether anybody's listening or not. Dude, that's a lot.
Because right, like that. We can see the
I mean-
pattern. It's like, all right, we're gonna do it. Like, if we can't do, all right, okay. Oh, we can't do it because we have like, yeah, it's fine.
But we're fine.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like, oh, you didn't do it. Like, yeah, fine. Like, like,
I
yeah, all right, we'll do
know.
it next time.
And you have to wonder, aren't these guys running out of things to talk about? They're not even hanging out together. Like, we're not even making new memories together. But that's fine because that's the cool thing about it, is that like I'll learn about his day and he'll learn about my day, and it's different. And yet, it's just something common about it. It's like it's an experience that he gets because he gets me, so he knows what I'm going through, and I get him because even though I'm not in Japan and even though I'm not experiencing what he's experiencing, I can, see it through his eyes or live. What's that term? Vicariously? Is that what's the term? Through somebody, like you live through somebody.
Vicariously?
Is that a word? Is it? No, I think it's vicarious. I think it's live. Can you research it if that's the word? I know there's a word like you live.
In a way that is experienced in the imagination through the actions of another person.
Yes, is that right? I'm vicariously. Okay, so it's right. Correct. So I kind of live vicariously through Iceman's experience.
Yeah, right.
It's not me, but it's him. But I can experience it through him because of my connection to him, because I know him. It's like a friend telling you, "Bye, dito sa kuan bay." It's like if you don't know the person who's telling you that story, you can't relate. But if you know the person, you can kind of know what he's talking about. You're like, yeah, you get it. Like you get it because you're living your life vicariously through his experiences. Because it's like sometimes when we watch like a YouTube video and we see a
Right.
documentary, right? And you follow this guy all the time. He's like, you love his show, you love the way he does his show, and he shares
like
with
you
you.
know him.
You feel like you know him, so you
It's the
feel
same
like
with like watching all these TV dramas. It feel like it's not true, but it feels like you're part of the freaking
Yeah.
like what is happening. Like, oh my god! Like, for example, House. When House ended, I felt really sad because
Yeah, you love House, huh? That's one of
Yeah.
the shows that you've been following for a while.
I felt really sad because like, oh, that was the end of it. Like, there's no more, no new seasons coming. So
Same
it
thing
was
with
like,
Entourage, dude. I felt that way.
Right?
I was like, what? It's like,
you thought you were
and,
like a part of it, but I mean,
and you
not
felt
really,
it
but you-
too. You felt it too. Like with Entourage, you felt it too. You felt like the latter episodes are like, oh, they're like shortcutting it already. They're not anymore as like, Turtle lost weight. It wasn't like, it didn't feel like if you felt like they were doing their own thing already, like it wasn't as like the
Right.
first few seasons, that was fun. The latter seasons was like, yeah, they're they're growing up. They're moving on. But anyways, dude, it's 11:30 there, so
Yeah.
I gotta let you.
All right. So I'll see you Thursday, right? All right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, no, no, no,
Thursday.
no, 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 no. Can we move it Friday? Because on Thursday, I might be doing a podcast with this vlogger dude, and I think that's the
Right. Okay.
schedule
Let's
they
do
gave me.
Friday.
So I can do it
Friday's
on
fine.
Friday. Yeah,
Right.
I'll do it
Let's
on
do
Friday.
Friday. All right.
All
So
right.
we'll see you guys on Friday. Gab, thanks for joining us, and the other person who's, yeah, it's probably not what's his name, Patrick. It could be him, but
Or
right,
someone
but
else
for sure,
spying.
yeah, just fine or whatever, like whoever it is. Anyway, Gab, thanks a lot for joining us. This has been the OK Show, Rod and Iceman, and we are out. We'll see you Friday. Good night.
Bye.